The day she never came back. I still remember the day the news broke. It was a Tuesday, and the air felt heavy with something unspoken. We were all gathered in the schoolyard, the sun shining bright, but the mood was dark. Everyone was whispering, eyes darting around, searching for answers. That's when I heard it: Mia was gone. Mia was a bright girl, full of life and laughter. She was in my class, always sitting in the front row, eager to learn. But lately, she had changed. She was quieter, more withdrawn. I didn't know why at first, but soon, the whispers began. It all started with Mr. Thompson, our English teacher. He was young, maybe in his late 20s, and he had a way of making literature come alive. But there was something about him that made me uneasy. He was too friendly, too close to the students. I noticed how Mia would hang back after class, talking to him while the rest of us filed out. At first, I thought it was just her enthusiasm for the subject. But then I saw the way he looked at her, and it made my stomach twist. One day, I overheard a conversation between Mia and her best friend, Sarah. They were in the bathroom, and I was washing my hands when I caught snippets of their talk. "He said I was special," Mia whispered, her voice trembling. "He said he cares about me." Sarah's response was muffled, but I could tell she was worried. "Mia, he's your teacher. This isn't right." But Mia didn't listen. She was in love, or at least she thought she was. I watched as she fell deeper into this dangerous infatuation. She started skipping classes, spending more time with Mr. Thompson. I wanted to say something, to warn her, but I didn't know how. I was just a kid, and who would believe me anyway? Then came the day that changed everything. Mia didn't show up to school. We all noticed, but no one said anything. The next day, she was back, but she looked different. There was a heaviness in her eyes, a shadow that hadn't been there before. I wanted to ask her what was wrong, but I was scared of what she might say. A week later, the truth came out. Mia was pregnant. The news spread like wildfire. I remember sitting in class, the teacher droning on about Shakespeare, but all I could think about was Mia. How could this happen? She was just a kid, and so was he. I found out later that Mr. Thompson had asked her to get an abortion. "It's for the best," he told her, but I could see the fear in her eyes. She didn't want to do it, but she felt trapped. I could only imagine the pressure she was under. Mia confided in Sarah again, and this time, I was there, hiding in the hallway, listening. "I don't know what to do," she cried. "I can't tell my parents. They'll kill me." Sarah tried to comfort her, but I could hear the panic in her voice. "You have to tell someone, Mia. This isn't right." But Mia didn't listen. She went through with the appointment, and I remember the day she didn't come back. I waited for her in the schoolyard, but the bell rang, and she was still missing. The next day, the principal called an emergency assembly. I sat in the gym, my heart racing. When he announced that Mia had died, I felt like the ground had fallen out from under me. "She had complications during the procedure," he said, his voice shaking. "We are all deeply saddened by this loss." I couldn't believe it. Mia was gone. Just like that. I felt a mix of anger and sadness. How could this happen? Why didn't anyone stop it? In the days that followed, I watched as the school mourned. Flowers were left at her locker, and her friends cried in the hallways. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. Mr. Thompson was still there, teaching as if nothing had happened. I wanted to scream, to tell everyone what I knew, but I felt powerless. Eventually, the truth came out. Mia's parents filed a lawsuit against the school, and Mr. Thompson was put on leave. But it felt too little, too late. Mia was gone, and nothing could bring her back. As I look back on that time, I realize how important it is to speak up. We were all scared, but we should have said something. We should have protected her. Mia's story is a reminder that love can sometimes blind us to the truth. It can lead us down dark paths, and sometimes, we don't see the danger until it happens. I believe Mr. Thompson gets caught up with what he did to innocent Mia.
Please subscribe.